Failed to go live? No, we're not failed to go live. We're fucking live right now. God damn it! It's time for Wrestle AM. All right, guys. Now you may notice something. You may notice something a little different from this. You may notice that you got the sexiest man on all of internet wrestling radio right here, but you don't quite have the mastermind, the CEO, the founder of CocoSports.com. I'm talking about Dave Kokotis. He's not there, but luckily we looked to the CocoSports.com family, found a very, very suitable substitute, the model himself, George Martel. Welcome to Wrestle AM, George.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. Gonna have some fun.
Well,
Dave Kokotis is...
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun, man. Extreme Rules is now in the books. I can't believe it. It actually turned out to be a better pay-per-view than I first thought. I mean, I didn't have a lot of hope going into this pay-per-view. I was thinking there was going to be some kind of something squirrely going on with WWE, but overall, I think I was impressed. But I guess the question that we usually start off with every show is, no matter if it's a pay-per-view, regular show, we got to ask, is it a win, loss, or tie? So, guys, for those of you watching, put down here in the comments, did you think this pay-per-view was a win, loss, or tie, and why? But, George, I'm going to start off with you, sir. What did you think? Win, loss, or tie?
I think it was a win. I think as far as Extreme Rules pay-per-views go, this was one of the better ones I've seen. WWE went big with this one. I think they did a good job.
All right. Overall, I mean, did anything in the kind of pay-per-view just kind of blow your mind that it kind of like, wow, I wasn't expecting that? Anything along that nature, or is it pretty much all, yeah, I could see all that coming?
I think it was pretty predictable, except for the Evolution Shield match. To be honest with you, I thought, that was going to go a different way, and we were screaming here. We actually got really into that match. But as far as the whole pay-per-view, I mean, I pretty much called every match before the pay-per-view, except for that six-man tag.
Yeah, for a lot of it, I have not even finished. You know what? I just now realized I have not finished up tallying up the results for pay-per-view profits. So sometime during this show, while George is involved in a nice long rant, I'm gonna tally up the numbers here for pay-per-view profits and find out who came out a winner. I knew I was forgetting something. I knew I would honestly forget something. I was like in a hurry. Then Google made me mad. And I had to try to set this thing up 4 times. But look, y'all didn't want to hear me bitch. Y'all wanted to hear me talk about Extreme Rules. So, Mr. Martel, let's lay it all down here. Let's start it out here with the pre-show match, the Wii LC match. You had El Torito with Los Matadores in his corner versus Hornswoggle with 3-man band in his corner. Now, jokes aside, what did you think about this pre-show match?
Well, honestly, it kind of surprised me. I thought it was just going to be, the two little guys joking around, just doing little rolls, and no big deal. And even when the little mini commentators came out, I thought that was hilarious, personally. But I thought it was just going to be a joke. But El Torito is a hell of an athlete. The little dude killed it. I actually thought it was a really good match, believe it or not. I gave it 4 stars, honestly.
4-star match. Wow. To be honest, I'm gonna agree with you. I was not looking forward to this match. I had said early on, the last review Dave and I did on pay-per-view profits, that I just didn't care. There was nothing WWE could do to get me interested in this match. It was no matter who won, who lost, I didn't care. And I didn't care that they were bringing in some, I'm going to be politically correct here, little people in to do this. I knew they were bringing in a little person as a referee, but they went overboard. I mean, they had a little person as the ring announcer. They had Minnie Cole, mini JBL and mini King. They're doing commentary at ringside and a mini table. They had mini chairs, mini little step ladders, mini tables, and I'm like, guys, y'all are going a little crazy with this. And that's what I was thinking, oh, God, here we go. But to be honest, this match was entertaining. I really like that they, it's like in a way it was comical, but it was done in a way where it made sense. It wasn't completely over the top. In my opinion, it was the best hardcore match of the night. It was done with like a lot of, chair shots, crashing through tables, but it was done in such a way it was like, oh, come on, you got to be fucking kidding me. It's like, okay, I could see how it could get back up and keep going. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, okay, that's brutal right there, but they're not that bad hurt. I love the way it was done. It was presented. Of course, El Torito got the win when he did that sitting senton on Hornswoggle through the table. It's like the fourth table spot that they did. Match went over 10 minutes. So this is, you know what? I will say it. WWE, I'm too prideful to say that I'm wrong or whatever, but you know what? I was wrong, WWE. You did a good job on that. Kudos to you. I wasn't interested in this pay-per-view, this pay-per-view match. It happened, and what can I say? I was thoroughly impressed with the match itself.
The crowd was really into the match, honestly, and
I know.
I love the build-up, honestly. And
the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome!" during the match. Oh man, absolutely phenomenal. But anyway, they decided to, they're going to kick off the pay-per-view. We got live from East Rutherford, New Jersey. WWE presents Extreme Rules. Let's see. The first match they kicked it off with, it was the Triple Threat Elimination match. It was Rob Van Dam versus Jack Swagger and Cesaro. Things I didn't like about this was, one, this became overly complicated. Now, commentary, in my opinion, King, Lawler, Cole, all of them seemed off their game tonight. I think commentary just was, while the pay-per-view itself may have been a win, I will straight up give commentary a fucking loss. They made things complicated that didn't need to be complicated. They were having to correct themselves these are guys, they're commentary. These are pretty much, let's just face it, Michael Cole is Vince McMahon's sock puppet. Let's put it that way. He is Vince McMahon's sock puppet, and you figure of all people, he would know what the hell was going on. And they just didn't. It's like they didn't know what was going on. It's like they were watching this shit for the first time. And it's like when, for example, it's like this was a triple threat elimination match, and then I don't know if it was them or the announcer, but somebody said first person to win it, to score a pinfall wins. I'm like, no, that's a triple threat match. That's not a triple threat elimination match. And they had a spot where Rob Van Dam pinned Jack Swagger, and it was a clear 1, 2, 3, and then there's commentary going, oh shit, this ain't supposed to happen. Cesaro's supposed to win this. What the fuck do we do? What was that? Was that 2 3/4? Was that? And it's like, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Swagger has been eliminated. Yeah, because it's an elimination match. Yeah, totally. Yeah, well, he's going to have to go through and turn Cesaro now to get this win. I'm like, come on, guys. Fucking come on. But that was the negative side, too. Or, no, go ahead, George.
It makes you kind of miss JR, honestly. I don't know. The Michael Cole was all over the place all night. He was calling people by the wrong names. And this match especially, honestly, I was confused. I had no idea what the hell was going on throughout the whole match. I was like, is it over? Is it not over? WWE never does elimination during triple threats. I mean, what the hell was going on? I was so confused. And I just kind of was like, I'd rather watch the midget match again.
Well, but and don't get me wrong, there was good stuff about this match. I mean, it was a good match. Granted, I think it went a lot shorter than what it probably could have gone. I mean, this match went over 10 minutes. You had that they were teasing that frog splash, but Swagger interrupted it. Just threw Van Dam down. Was going to do the Patriot lock. You had Van Dam get the first elimination on Swagger, ended with that just brutal fucking neutralizer on top of that garbage can to get the win. It was pretty good. I kind of hate that Swagger winds up the only one that looks bad in this. Because, yeah, he had a couple of good spots in there, particularly one with the Patriot lock off, and then off the top rope. But he gets eliminated. Rob Van Dam, at least he got the elimination, and he did some good stuff with introduced the garbage can in. And, of course, Cesaro, the guy that they're trying to, he's the rising heel star. So I just kind of feel bad for Swagger because I think he's the only one who didn't look good in this. But overall, I would give it a good match. I'll say it was a good match, and that it was a great way to open the pay-per-view.
Okay. Well, first of all, Jack Swagger. I don't know why he still has a job. Quite honestly, I don't know why he still has a job. He is so mind-numbingly boring to watch for me. It's just incredible. I'd rather watch Santino Marella wrestle, and I really hate Santino Marella stuff.
Hey, there's no need for a name.
Rob Van Dam of RVD. His best days are behind him. Although he did a good job. Cesaro, as usual, killed it. It was a decent match for what they had. It just seemed rushed. It seemed like there was really no story behind the match. It seemed like they just threw these guys together. Commentators didn't know what the hell was going on. It seemed like the guys in the match didn't know what was going on. The referee was lost. Heyman was just talking about Brock Lesnar. It was just, the whole thing was just, I could have done without the whole match, to be honest with you.
Well, I think the reason why it looked awkward is because people just didn't know the difference between a triple threat match and an elimination match. Us huge fucking nerds, by God, we know what the fuck it is. But it was like, it's a triple threat elimination match. First person to get the fall wins. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You said it's a fucking elimination. And then I think it was overly complicated. It didn't have to be, and I think that is just really what affected everything. All right. Next here, we had next match out the gate. Oh, the handicap match. You had the Bulgarian Brute, Alexander Rusev versus R-Truth and Xavier Woods. First of all, Lana. Oh, my God, Lana. What can I say about Lana? She comes out wearing that nice tight little blue suit, shows off those huge track salam, and those nice, I'm talking, those legs that go on, got more legs than a bucket of chicken. Oh, and then those nice high heels, just had that hair tied back. Dude, I can't say this shit too loud because my future wife, is in the apartment with me here. But let's just say if I was a single man in a different universe, and she was to proposition me with carnal pleasures, that I would not decline that invitation. That is all I'm trying to say. I would do it on two conditions. One, she take her hair down, and two, she keep on the high heels. Woof. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, she dedicated the match to Vladimir Putin. And when she did that, I just said, hey, Lana, the 1980s called. They want their gimmick back.
I thought it was actually kind of neat, though, to be honest with you, because it was the only redeeming part of the whole match. After that, I didn't care. After she said her little piece and Alexander came on stage, it was over for me at that point. Or I like to call him Russian Taz. When Russian Taz came out to wrestle R-Truth,
I'm stealing that one.
It was a match that should have been on Superstars or main event, not a pay-per-view. But honestly, they could put her on all damn day. I'll be okay with that. I have no problem. that was okay. That was okay. I like that. Okay, check this out. If they just have her go in the ring and just talk during his matches, I would actually enjoy them.
No, you'd be like trying
That's
to you try to find, like, hack the internet and try to find that camera that stayed directly on her the entire time. That's
Dude, that would
exactly
be
what you would
awesome.
be looking at.
That would be amazing. But yeah, all this match was crap. Straight
Uh,
up.
I understand what they're trying to do. They had as soon as both R-Truth and Xavier Woods were getting close to the ring. Rusev jumped them both, beat the crap out of Woods, threw R-Truth in the ring, proceeded to just absolutely pummel him. But here's my question here. Do you think WWE is promoting Rusev as the next big monster? Because when you think about it, Big Show, Kane, their careers are starting to wind down. Not saying that they're going to retire in like the next year or two. I'm just saying they're getting to a point where, okay, guys, it's time to start wrapping it up, thinking about our legacies. What are we going to do after wrestling? Are we going to do other things? Are we going to go off and do our own thing? They're kind of like on the decline. They're wrapping up. So do you think Rusev is that guy that they're trying to groom to take that type of spot?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they're building Rusev up just to face Bryan eventually, feed him to Bryan, and that's pretty much it. Well, or to Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns is the man at the time. Because let's face it, Bryan's gonna have a short little pop. It's over for him as soon as Roman Reigns is ready. But that's just my personal opinion. But he's just gonna be a feeder. I mean, you can't build a monster when the monster's shorter than the referee. I mean, come on. This guy, literally, he is a Russian Taz. I mean, the dude is short. He's stocky. There's nothing scary about him except for his matches. I don't. I mean, I bet that what they're doing is they need some big time heels. They need some bad heels for Roman Reigns. They need some good heels for Bryan, considering their top heels have already been beat by both. The last pay-per-view we saw Bryan beat half the WWE. This pay-per-view we saw Roman Reigns destroy Evolution. They got nobody left, so they have to build somebody up to wrestle him. Other than that, I don't think he's a monster. I don't really think he's going anywhere. Honestly, he's just gonna fizzle out.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, let's see. Malik Douglas wrote in that, I actually found the comments this time, kids. Malik Douglas said we need our hero player dies to stop yours truly here from oogling Lana. Apparently, there's something about sexual harassment lawsuits or whatever. But I know Fire Angel. She was watching tonight on the internet infantry chat that we have going on Google Plus. I know she was on there, and she was saying something about, she had a hard time watching the pay-per-view because she was doing tequila shooters without the training wheels. And, and I'm trying to, like, comment on that just because I like, Lana, and I like Bailey and Paige and AJ and Alicia Fox and, who else? Oh, Gail Kim. And it doesn't mean I'm like always oogling women and using them as like objects. I mean, come on. I mean, can I not appreciate a beautiful woman? All right.
I agree. You're preaching to the choir, man.
All right, let's get this train back on the track here. I'm sorry, but if you want us to kind of skip down, I know there's like a lot of comments from our live viewers. Griffin64, Aaron Moore, Forsaken, Ewok from Endor, of course, Joel Edwards. All you guys, thank you very, very much for watching us live here. But if you want us to kind of talk more, about the comments, then I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Because we're not going to go to the live comments just yet. We're going to go to the Intercontinental title match. You have the champion, Big E, drop the Langston, versus Bad News Barrett for the Intercontinental title. Honestly, I think this match was too short. To me, okay, and I mentioned this on Pay-Per-View Profits, the last show. And George, maybe you could give me a fresh perspective on this. Tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but I felt like this was kind of done completely bass-ackwards, if you know what I mean. I mean, look, the layout was you had a tournament, you had this, Wade Barrett, fight through 3 matches, boom, he becomes the #1 contender for the Intercontinental title. Meanwhile, you had Biggie Langston. He was sitting back in the locker room. They had the flat screen TV. He's got his belt. He's standing there in silence, just watching all these matches because he's going to have to fight one of these guys. And then you had Wade Barrett rise up, and then he gets through all these matches, and then he challenges the champion. And spoiler alert, I guess it's not really a spoiler because this is a review. He wins. He beats Biggie Langston. I feel like this should have been done like the other way around. I felt like the formula, it should be like the bad guy who doesn't defend his title like Biggie did. The bad guy should just be watching, watching all the matches, they're watching all these guys beat the crap out of each other just to get the opportunity to challenge for a title, and it's the bad guys stalking and waiting to pick up what's left of the scraps of whoever climbs to the top of that mountain, and the good guy's supposed to win that tournament, face he's beat up, but he's facing the champion, and boom, he comes out with a win. It was done the complete opposite way, except for it was the good guy waiting for the bad guy to challenge him, and it was, you had a bad guy that people likes, a good guy they didn't do a very good job with him or his title run, let's be honest. And plus, Barrett didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he didn't cheat. He didn't do anything despicable. He didn't call, Biggie names. He didn't try to, hit him with a foreign object. Didn't try to pull the tights. Didn't, call his mother dirty names. I mean, it was just, he went in there, and by the way, I love it when he does this. He turned his elbow pad inside out. Let's let you know that the bull hammer elbow's coming, and boom, he wins, and the whole crowd explodes. And I'm like, WWE, I really feel like that they've kind of got some things backwards. I don't know. Am I looking way too much into this, George, or do I have a point?
I think you do have a point. The whole entire time during that tournament was going on, the only thing that kept popping in my head is, why is Biggie so special that they have to have a tournament with somebody to face him? I mean, you have all these guys who have been winning matches, who have been wrestling. Biggie hasn't done anything. If anything, he should have been told, you defend the title in 30 days or you're going to get stripped of it. He is having a heel run as a face. When he was a heel, he was acting like a face. Now that he's a face, he's acting kind of like a heel. They what it is what it is. It's not his fault. It's what they gave him. I was excited to see Biggie be called up from NXT, and have been disappointed ever since. They took away the 5 count, which I thought was his only redeeming quality. They took away anything that made him cool. They don't even let him speak, and he actually has pretty good mic skills. When they let him go on his own, they dropped the ball with him. They dropped the ball with his title run. This whole tournament idea was stupid. But out of the whole thing, we got what I thought was a surprisingly good match between Barrett and Big E. And the right guy won that match, honestly. It should have been a face, but I mean, really, there's no faces or heels anymore. I don't even know what the hell's going on with that. Cena's the biggest heel they got, and he's supposed to be a baby face, and you got Barrett being cheered by the fans while he's beating up the supposed babyface Big E, and my kid, 10-year-old son, was cheering for Bad News Barrett. That should not happen. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Good match. The right guy won. Tournament idea was stupid. I agree with you. It should have been the other way around. But it is what it is.
Yeah, now let me ask you this.
Now.
Okay. Ask you this. What does WWE need to do with Big E Langston now? I mean, do they need to overhaul him? Do they just need do they need to do nothing, just put him back in the mix and he can, challenge again for the title, put him in a side feud, repackage him, send him back to NXT? What do they do with Big E Langston here? I felt like they he was a good guy in NXT, but he came out as like a bad guy, but being Dolph Ziggler's muscle. He eventually broke off. It's like, hey, he's a power lifter. He's been doing it since he was a kid. Okay, now that we give him the Intercontinental title, it's like they're taking baby steps with him. It's like, all right, here we go. And it's just, it fell flat. Do you think it's WWE, needs to do something with them? Is it their fault? Is it WWE's fault that he's in the position he's in? Or is it Big E's fault? I mean, there's just a lot of questions here I have with the big guy.
I think they turned them face too soon. When they turned their face, they really didn't do anything there. They could have built off a real big angle between him and Ziggler. They really didn't do that. And he won the title, hasn't done anything since. At this point, I mean, who's to blame? WWE, mostly. The writers, they tend to look at the Intercontinental Championship as a joke nowadays. It seems like Big E really doesn't do anything to stand out either. And quite honestly, I think right now the only thing they can do with Big E is either send him back to NXT to repackage him, but I think that's just a waste of time. He's on the main roster. They changed his name for whatever reason. I think he should go back to being a heel. I think he should be the Authority's muscle. Now that Batista's kind of going to be here and there sparingly, and I don't know what the hell's happening with Kane. Big E should be the Authority's muscle now. It would make sense. It would give him something to do.
All right. And well, I mean, hell, there's not much I can say about Big E other than best of luck to him, and I hope he really rebounds. I know there was maybe a rumor about a possible feud with him and Titus O'Neil, which I'm not exactly crazy about, but I can honestly see that happening. But anyway, that's not what people want us to talk about. They gotta want us to talk about this next match here, 6-man tag match. Fucking faction on faction warfare at its finest. In my humble opinion, match of the night, you had Evolution versus The Shield. Holy shit. There, I just summed up the entire match in 2 words. Holy shit. This was fucking amazing. I thought, okay, the D Club, maybe they're gonna drag it down, but son of a bitch. I mean, everybody bought their fucking A game. I thought, okay, this is just going to be the Roman Reigns, highlight reel. They're just going to put him over. No. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose definitely were stars in this match. Wow. I mean, there's just no... George, please take it away here. I'm running out of words to describe just how awesome this is.
Okay, I got a few things to say about this whole situation with Evolution and Shield. First of all, I gave it 5 badass stars. Not just 5 stars, just 5 badass stars. The match from top to bottom, it was just match of the night, match of the year so far, I think. And this brings me up to a good point here with Triple H. Triple H so far has been doing a damn good job ever since he's got a leadership role, in my personal opinion. I also think this should shut a lot of you internet marks out there. You guys, I'm trying to point at the camera. You guys will say Triple H doesn't put anybody over. Triple H, not only is he putting the Shield over, he put Daniel Bryan over last month. Triple H is the best damn worker the WWE has, bar none. He's better than Bryan. He's better than anybody in that roster. And I'm not just some Triple H mark. I mean, come on, let's face it. Look at the match that he put together. You think Randy Orton was the one that put that match together? It sure as hell wasn't Bautista. The Shield, they're too young to put a match together. That match was all Hunter. Everybody knows that. And check this out. You see this book here? WrestleMania 30 Special Edition book. This is just a little rant because just Triple H, all right? Everybody talks about how Triple H doesn't put anybody over. Triple H has lost more matches at WrestleMania than anyone else on the WWE roster in history. All right, just throwing that out there. He has lost more matches than anyone else in the history of WrestleMania. And tonight, he stole the show with the Shield. He put everybody over, but to Batista's credit, he did a damn good job. This is his best match since he's been back. Randy Orton, always good. The Shield killed it. Seth Rollins stole the show, in my opinion. And Dean Ambrose, I mean, I don't know, dude. From top to bottom, this match was great. I had my kids here screaming up and down. I was marking out. The crowd was going crazy. They have to revisit this match again. They have to have a rematch. I think WWE needs to bring in War Games. Stop being involved around the bush. Bring in War Games. Let's do this thing. And this match was just amazing. And Triple H did it, man. I'm telling you. I'm upset. I should be happy, but I'm upset. Yeah.
You know, and first of all, George, let me just say this. How dare you, sir? How dare you make a statement and then back up your statement with facts? This is Wrestle AM. We don't do that shit here. We fucking hate the goddamn D Club. How dare you? Anyway, wow. I guess, first of all, I want to say thank you to the New Age Outlaws. Now, people are like, what? Huh? They're not in this pay-per-view, sir. They haven't been seen in months. Well, not months, but weeks. Remember, they were supposed to break up the Shield. I want everybody to remember that. WWE was going to break up the Shield, and they were going to have one of the ideas tossed around. They were going to have every member of the Shield face each other like a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Well, all this stuff got thrown out because remember, Roman Reigns was supposed to be the next breakout star, next golden child. But anyway, the New Age Outlaws said, no, we want to work with the Shield. So they threw together the 6-man tag match between the Shield and the New Age Outlaws and Kane. That's and that's what happened at WrestleMania. And because of that, they put the brakes on things. They're doing everything right with Roman Reigns. He's going to be the next golden boy. So they're taking their time with him. They're not hot-shotting him. They're taking their time with them, and they're keeping the Shield together. And now they've turned the Shield face. Now, normally, I'm not a huge fan of turning people, or at least not frequently. Me personally, I would only do that if, let's just say you have any kind of, like, it could be anybody, but, a tag team, faction, singles wrestlers. I look at it this way. Once they've done everything they could about possibly, if they're very, very popular, of course, if they've done everything they could actually do, then you turn them because then they've got a whole different set of opponents they can take on to make up for more interesting matchups, and you can make some more money. This match here, match of the night, and everybody else really, really shined. I mean, Dean Ambrose, just that fucking crazy man where he's throwing all the fucking haymakers. They hit him, he bounces off the ropes, he comes back, he does more. Seth Rollins doing all these saves. And, guys, I'm telling you, you guys would probably kick me out of the Internet Infantry if I just did not mention that brawl that spilled to the outside that had everybody completely on their feet. Wow, what can I say? Seth Rollins doing that dive onto Triple H, Randy Orton, and Dean Ambrose from the upper deck. I guess one of the causeways. But anyway, the jump on there, it was just one of those, I said, holy shit, because there was no padding below him. It was fucking concrete. If they don't catch him, Rollins is going to the hospital. I mean, that's how serious it was. And I just said, wow. And my girlfriend just happened to be in here and was just like, what? I'm like, dude, did you just not see that? And yes, I did say that. I did say, dude, did you just see that? Anyway, I was just like, wow. What was like, wait, look for the replay. Look for the replay. She's like, well, I don't see a replay. And she was starting to go do something, behind me here in the kitchen. And I'm like, here it is. She's like, I see it. I mean, that's how big it was. That big of a spot. You had Roman Reigns come off as this just never say die, because he got hit with everybody's finishing maneuver and still came up out of it. Hit that fucking just the Superman punch and that vicious spear on Batista for the win. I mean, that was just an absolutely incredible match. I hope we see more of this. I know that this is not going to do anything to slow the push for Roman Reigns, but I kind of wish they would, throttle back down on it, because I want to see more of this from the Shield. This is what I want to fucking see. This is amazing. Okay, let me give it to you this way, guys. I hate the D Club. Dave Kokotis hates the D Club. We can't stand people like, Triple H. We can't stand people like Batista. We can't stand people like Randy Orton. But god damn it, they put them in a fucking match against the Shield, and these guys worked well together. It was absolutely amazing. Now, as far as the War Games part of goes about your story here, George, I really do want to agree with you. People keep talking about War Games. I don't know. Here's what I think happens. One person mentions it, and it makes its round on the webs, on the interwebs, and it just kind of becomes like a rumor. Oh, there's going to be a War Games match. Could there be a War Games match? Is there going to be War Games? I honestly don't know. You would have to add some more people to it. The only thing I could see maybe happening to make sense. Now, traditionally, War Games is 5-on-5. You could, even if you did throw Kane and Batista into this, it would still be 8-man, but maybe you could get away with it. But I honestly don't know if they'll do it. I don't think they'll do it. I think they may do it like an Elimination Chamber match or something of that nature, because Vince McMahon really doesn't like to do things that he didn't come up with. War Games is not one of the things he's come up with, so it could be on the back burner. I could look for something, like I said, Elimination Chamber. I could see it going that far, but I just don't know if they'll do War Games. I mean, it would be nice. I would love to see that. I've not seen a good War Game since like the 90s, so I think it's long overdue. But will it actually happen? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But George, I know I've been ranting here for like the past 5 or 10, 15 minutes on this. Anything else you want to sum up with this match other than holy shit?
Yeah, well, it was just an amazing match. Match of the night by far. About the War Games thing, you're right. Vince does not like to do things he didn't come up with. But at the same token, money talks, and if he sees there's going to be money in it, he'll do it. At the end of the day, he'll give it a shot once. He didn't create the Great American Bash, but he ran with it for a few years. So, I think if they see money in it, they'll give it a shot. At this point, I think the safe bet is they'll do some kind of cage match or Hell in a Cell or something before we do see the War Games, but it would be pretty badass. And I think either way, I think it's going to end up being 4-4. Evolution and maybe Kane against the Shield and Daniel Bryan, and then ended that way. Somehow this whole war between the Authority and Shield and Bryan has got to end eventually, and move on to bigger and better things, I guess. I don't know how it's going to get any better than this, quite honestly. But, well, I'm a believer.
You got to believe. You can't spell challenge without change. And I think, Vince McMahon, you need to change. You need to change your philosophy. You can't meet that challenge of, taking this feud to the next level if you don't change. So you need to change and do a War Games there, Vince. All right. Okay, let me just say this in closing. Guys, if you only have time to watch one match and you can tell your friends, and your friends are like, I don't know, should I watch? Tell them just to watch, the Shield versus Evolution. That's all they need to watch. Awesome. Whew. Next here is, he's got the whole world in his hands. You got John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. This was a steel cage match. This match was not bad. I just think they did everything in this match except for put up a giant neon sign. Hey, the Wyatts cheated. We still like John Cena. John Cena's still the man. Hustle, loyalty, respect. Please buy his T-shirts. He's still awesome. Look. I mean, good God. I mean, look. I mean, the Wyatt family did everything but back a fucking truck over him in this match. I mean, they gave this guy so many fucking outs. I mean, they were like, it's like Vince McMahon himself, sat down in, Bray Wyatt's rocking chair, took one of the little kids, the hustle, loyalty, respect, John Cena T-shirts, and by the way, kids, this is not a perfect circle, no Aaron Moore, it's just a Biohazard shirt I bought. Anyway, It's like Vince McMahon, it's like took the little kids with the John Cena t-shirt, put them on his lap, and was like, well, look, the Wyatts are really bad people. And, John Cena fought really, really hard, but it's hard for him to win when they just cheat so much. I mean, there was the two guys out there, they were threatening John Cena because John Cena totally would have won if they hadn't been out there. They threatened to hit him with a chair. They were interfering. Hell, one of them even got into the cage with them. But we couldn't disqualify him because, well, it's a cage match. We don't do that. But don't you worry. John Cena will be back tomorrow night on Raw, and he's going to get his revenge on Bray Wyatt at the next pay-per-view. I felt like that's what Vince McMahon in WWE was doing this entire time with this match. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, it was just so. I mean, you just can't have Bray Wyatt win. You just can't have him win. Okay, he cheats. Okay, he's a bad guy. He does that. I can understand that, but they went so far over the fucking top with this, just trying to protect John Cena. I mean, it was like, I would love to see that, whoever proposed this in the creative meeting. All right, so we're going to have Bray Wyatt go over John Cena. And John Cena's like, well, I wanted WrestleMania 30. I'm really not wanting John. Well, just hear me out, John. We'll have the Wyatt family cheat, so that way you save face. But yeah, but they always cheat. I just took them on in a 3-on-1 handicap match and came out on top on that. I mean, it's not going to be believable. Well, what if we have the Wyatt family attack you with chairs? Well, I've been beat up before, hello, I'm John Cena, I mean, they do everything short of hitting me with a truck and I still come out on top. Well, what if we put an unfair 2-on-1 advantage inside the cage against you? Again, I beat him 3-on-1 on Raw, granted by disqualification, but come on, guys. Well, I got an idea. How about we stop you from winning with a children's choir? Well, wait a minute. That has never been done before. I could never hit a child either. So, and that's what happened, kids. Think about it. Superman, his weakness is kryptonite. The Green Lantern, his weakness is that fucking fucked up color yellow that Sinestro has. Aquaman, it's being out of water. But John Cena, his weakness to losing a match is a children's choir. He had everybody beat. He literally drug everybody from the outside, anything inside, beat the crap out of them. And then he's about to walk out. He's looking around. Okay. I'm like, all right, here we go again. They did the little Wyatt family, and then they just took this little kid, this little bitty kid here, little Johnny. That was his name. I'm not making that up. Little Johnny had a little black choir robe on, had a microphone, and was singing. He's got the whole world in his hands with the microphone. There was some voice distortion, so it sounded low and backward like a Judas Priest album in reverse. And John Cena's like, what? Huh? Yeah? And then the lights come back on. Bray Wyatt hits John Cena with Sister Abigail's kiss, then walks out and wins the match. And I'm like, all right, there is protecting your baby face, and then there is just, what the fuck, WWE? What the fuck? So, George, please explain to me why the hell a little boy in a black choir robe singing into a distorted mic is enough to stop, your former 20, 30, 50-time champion, maybe that's not factually accurate, from walking out of a cage and winning a match?
Okay. Okay. See, I did not expect anything less from this match. Except for Super Cena being Super Cena, which, he was Super Cena. Just a little backstory here. It reminds me of Chris Jericho in his podcast interviewing Edge, and they talked about how in the SummerSlam match where Cena and Team WWE wrestled the Nexus, and the Nexus was supposed to go over until Cena came up with the idea to kick out of all their finishers and beat Wade Barrett anyway. I believe this whole thing happened, the same thing at WrestleMania. quite honestly, the way it just doesn't go in my mind that there's no way that they did not plan for Bray Wyatt to win that match. Well, what's the point? What's the point if Cena's going to win to continue the feud? And now we go to Extreme Rules, Steel Cage. I knew they had to have Wyatt win. And I knew it was going to be Super Cena. The kid thing was surprising. I kind of like where they're going with it, however. And this is why. During Cena selling this promos like the fans have turned on him. The fans are going after Bray. Even when Cena is obviously being booed, it's not his fault. The fans turned on him because of what Bray Wyatt did. They're following him. He has them brainwashed. It's not because they don't like me. It's because they are brainwashed by him. I like this, and I think this has to do with Triple H more than Vince. I think Triple H is selling to Cena, hey, this is a way we could keep you heel or face, and you'll come out on top at the end. I think in the back burner, this is also a way to turn them heel if they need to. And, yeah, they protect Cena. Vince has to protect his baby. I don't think Triple H is going to protect him as much. He's not a Triple H guy. And let's face it, I think Triple H knows it's time to move on. The whole thing with the kid, that was actually interesting. I actually like that. The kid represented every fan out there. Basically, we're tired of you, John. and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he comes up, what promo, what he says tomorrow on Raw. The match was a little confusing. My complaints about the match wasn't the Super Cena, because I expected that. Wasn't the 3,000 times they interfered. I expected that also. Was that besides a couple moves here and there, all Cena did was try to escape the cage. He's supposed to be a top babyface, and all he did was try to escape the cage. That's what a heel would do.
Honestly, I think when it comes to like these cage matches, you need to change the rules on them a little bit. It's either you either win by pinfall or submission, the cage is just to make sure nobody else can get in and interfere, or you can only win by escaping the cage, and you have to go over the top. Because anytime you have the part of, well, you can walk out the door, I'm just like, then why don't you just walk out the goddamn door? Beat the shit out of everybody, leave them lay, and then just fucking walk the fuck out. Why the fuck does, I know it's just the loss of professional wrestling or whatever. You know, somebody's knocked out. Okay, now I'm going to try to slowly climb up over it. No, walk the fuck out. Okay, no, okay, he's out. Fucking pin him. But they make it, and this match was just, I feel like it was needlessly overly complicated, and it was just done so much. I kind of agree with that. I think it was done to stroke John Cena's ego. It was, okay, you'll lose, but we'll leave no fucking shred of doubt in anyone's mind that you really would have won had the Wyatt family not completely interfered at every damn turn. That's the way that I'm seeing it. It was just, just way, way over the top. And I also kind of like the idea, like you mentioned here, of the storyline is that, people are turning on John Cena because they're now, they've become followers of Bray Wyatt. So technically speaking, a lot of the fan base is, or by de facto the heels because they're being brainwashed by Bray Wyatt. I mean, I'm glad WWE is finally acknowledging the chorus of boos that John Cena has been met with for the better part of a decade. Let me ask you this, George. Do you think it's too late to acknowledge all the boos? Two, do you like how they're essentially calling their fans, heels or bad guys for booing John Cena and working that into the storyline?
I don't think it's too late to acknowledge the rules. I do think that them calling the fans heel is a bit much. I like the fact that the only one calling the fans heel really is John Cena. JBL kind of says they like Bray Wyatt, they like what he's about. Michael Cole, we don't know why they like Bray Wyatt, but they're not calling him heel. You know, John Cena's is like, why? Why did you put me in that match? Why? What did you do this? Why? He's sounding like a whiny little bitch. And quite honestly, at the end of the day, I think this, if he doesn't turn heel from this, he'll never turn heel.
I don't think he's ever going to turn heel. And here's my reasons why. Is one, he supposedly sells a lot of merchandise. He also supposedly sells a lot of tickets. But he's also kind of like the face of the WWE because he does all these Make-A-Wish. I mean, he brought out Make-A-Wish number 400 some odd. I mean, 400 Make-A-Wish. I mean, I don't care who you are. Props to you for doing that. I mean, that doing Make-A-Wish, using that fame. I mean, makes appearances on Total Divas. The guy's a fucking cash register for WWE when it comes to like the itty bitty fans. I mean, that's who John Cena is marketed towards. And I think, in a way, George, I think he really is a heel. He's a good guy to like the little kids, but he's a heel to everybody else. And I think he is like, it's like the 2014, there's these shades of gray with pro wrestling now. I think maybe John Cena really is a heel because, I mean, he's got all the makings of a heel. He always finds a way to win. He always finds that way. When you think everything you could throw at the guy, he just weasels out of it somehow in the end, just like a bad guy. So maybe this is like their different topsy-turvy world, different versions of of bad guys. Dave Kokoda says that Bo Dallas, his gimmick is basically they acknowledged that it's like John Cena is his character. He is a bad guy that actually thinks he's a good guy. So do you think that's too far off?
With Bo Dallas, yes, they're doing it on purpose. With John Cena, I just think they're really oblivious. They really think that all these kids love John Cena. I had a living room full of kids. I was the only adult in this house watching the pay-per-view, and not one of them, not my 7-year-old, not my 12-year-old, not their little cousins, were cheering for John Cena. They were all cheering for Bray Wyatt. They were all chanting, "Let's go Wyatt." And you look in that crowd, there were a lot of kids cheering for Bray Wyatt. Sure, John Cena still has a little C Nation, or whatever the case may be. Vince wants him to still be the baby face because of the Make-A-Wish and so on, so forth. Honestly, turn him heel. The Make-A-Wish kids will want to go for Roman Reigns, or they're going to want to ask for Daniel Bryan. They'll ask for whoever the face is. John Cena made himself accessible to that, which was awesome. More props to him. Here's the thing with John Cena, and this is why I think they're leading towards him actually turning heel for real this time. John Cena was always popular with the females and the kids. And I actually spoke to a female friend of mine who doesn't like wrestling at all, but watches Total Divas. And now she hates John Cena solely because she feels that John Cena is stringing along Nikki Bella. In the reality series, they're making him out to be the heel. If they're turning him heel towards the women, he's going heel. Trust me.
Dude, I'm serious. I have to. Dude, I'm doing the 80 slow clap. That is the best fucking analysis I've heard. Now, I've watched Total Divas. No, I'm not proud of that, but yes, I've seen Total Divas. Dave Kokodas has it, and I guess that's why he's better than all of us. I've seen that, and the way he's presented on there is that basically, yeah, he's been divorced, and he's wounded right now, and then you've got Nikki Bella completely up his 24/7. He's seen as he's seen as anal because he was like freaked out when Nikki was cooking in his kitchen and was going in there just cleaning everything, and then he got a little shady this past week because he was hiding something for Nikki, and it turns out there was a house that she really liked. He turned around and bought it for her, and it was just. I kind of agree with you, George. I'm thinking maybe he's kind of stringing her along so he shows up on Total Divas, or maybe it's completely manufactured romance.
I think the relationship is real. I think what they're doing on the cameras is fake.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I could totally see that. So yeah, maybe that's a good way to set it up. But who knows? I think if he doesn't sell as many tickets to house shows or move as much merchandise, then I think they wouldn't hesitate to pull the trigger on a heel turn. I just think that little bit right there, because the old saying goes, "Money talks, bullshit walks." So we'll have to see on that one. And I'd also like to note that due to this win, Bray Wyatt is once again the CocoSports.com Internet Champion. Yes, he's a two-time CocoSports.com champion. So, woohoo! Way to get it off. Way to get the belt off Cena. All right, next here, this was for the Divas title. You had the defending champion Paige taking on Tamina Snuka. Now, in my opinion, George, this is the exact point where the pay-per-view took a nosedive. It just completely just died after this. Now, I know that the Divas were coming up after a pretty intense match here. The audience needed a chance to catch their breath. They brought it out here, and this match was, to be honest, I thought it was going to be better. Now, I don't know if it's just because of where the match was placed or they're just both girls had an off night. Just to me, I just really didn't like it. Don't get me wrong, I love Paige. I like Tamina Snuka. I was like, okay, well, there's somebody who can carry a pay-per-view, pay-per-view style match. Tamina, yeah, she's pretty tough. And the crowd just completely died. They were out of it. I know they introduced Paige in one hell of a way. They had her come out after WrestleMania 30, shock the champion, and under 2 minutes, and now she's the champion, and now she's having to work her way through the Divas roster. It's kind of like the fastest gun in the West, and every outlaw in the city is coming out to challenge him to duels. It's the same concept here, but I just really don't think it worked. And actually, I do have a question for you, George, off this one. Do you think this type of match here that Paige had with Tamina Snuka, does that kind of make you reassess her ability and WWE's decision to move her up from NXT to the main roster?
No, see, I look, I've been in the ring. I did this stupid business for 11 years, and yeah, of course, I wasn't WWE. I wasn't anything that big. Honestly, I wish I was, but I wasn't. However, I think Paige was nervous. This is her first pay-per-view. This is technically really her biggest match of her career. And the match with AJ, notwithstanding, was not a real match. She got beat up for 2 minutes and won with one move. This was her first real title defense on a pay-per-view. The crowd was dead. You cannot blame the match because it was the placement. They could have put any match there with the exception of the 2 other main events, and the crowd would have been dead. Which is why they always throw the Divas match, because no one really cares about the Divas match, right? But I thought the match wasn't perfect. It wasn't bad. I thought Paige did a decent job. She's not up to par yet, but she'll get there. I think Gorilla Snuka should have taken care of the match. However, but Gorilla Snuka really botched a couple moves. She shouldn't be nervous. It wasn't perfect. There was some botches. All in all, I don't think it was a bad match. Paige she is right at where she needs to be, on top of the Divas division. However, I think they gave her the title too soon. This is another example of the ass backwards thing you were talking about. Instead of having her chase the champion, chase the title, she wins the title on her first match. Now, instead of her being on top, she's having to work her way up the roster with the title. And so she's building her way up to something. There's nothing to build up from where she's at. So that's what people are not caring. There's nowhere for her to go. If you build her up from the bottom, people care because they want to see her reach the top. She was on top from day one. There's nowhere for her to go. No one really cares. But she's on the roster. She needs to be. I just think they gave her the title too soon. I don't blame her for the match. I blame Tamina more. She should have handled the match better. And the placement, well, it was the go to the bathroom match. Let's face it. I mean, what it was. It's kill the crowd before the main event.
You know, and here's just a side thing I was thinking about. Do you think now that any chick showing up on the Total Divas reality show, it's the kiss of death for their career? Because when you think about it, all those girls that you see on Total Divas are never really serious contenders for the Divas title. They never win it, and you had AJ pull an upset at WrestleMania by beating 14 other divas, and then when there's nobody left to challenge, they just pull this rookie up from NXT who not only beats her, but beats her in a very, very quick, very, very quickly, and now has now got her title. And they could have gone to anybody on that Divas roster, but they opted not to and pull a rookie up from NXT. So do you think? I know that with being on Total Divas and being followed around with a camera crew, that maybe it would be more difficult as a champion, because as a champion you have to meet certain obligations, which would maybe take away from shooting time for the reality show. But do you think that the Total Divas is the kiss of death if you want to be a Divas champion in the WWE?
Well, all right. Total Divas is basically, from what I see, is where they're throwing the divas that have absolutely no ring skill whatsoever, with the exception of Natty, and the reason she's there is just kind of babysitting. As far as the kiss of death, I think it's actually the opposite. Divas title doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. It's just an accessory, and it could be giving them the Diva Earring Championship. Have earrings come out instead of an actual title. But these girls would have never had any type of exposure or the matches they've had on Raw or SmackDown or Pay-Per-Views if it wasn't for this god-awful show. And, I think I don't think it was a kiss of death. I think it was what saved a couple of these girls from getting released, to be honest with you. Obviously, the Bella Twins are not going to get released because of who they're sleeping with, but the other ones, Natty, as much as I love her, let's face it, I mean, come on. She hasn't done anything. The only thing remarkable that I remember was her farting angle.
Oh, God, don't remind me. But who's going to be Paige's next challenger, do you think? I know it's way too soon for AJ. I think ultimately that needs to be the end goal, is you have her build up, go through the Divas roster, and then just when you think she's got everything completed, she's in her groove, boom, here comes AJ. Hey, I want my title back.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the Total Diva girls are going to want to challenge her. I think they're eventually going to do the whole, the two NXT divas and have her work Emma maybe for a show or two. Eventually bring up Sasha Banks, Charlotte, have her wrestle them. But ultimately, I think it's going to lead up maybe to SummerSlam, Paige against AJ. And I honestly think AJ's going to get the belt back because they gave it to Paige too soon. And AJ is not. They didn't expect AJ to be as over or as good as she did turn out. I think AJ is the best champion they've had since Trish Stratus days, and that's not saying much. But I mean, that's you know what I mean. I mean, quite honestly, she is the most exciting Divas champion they've ever had. Trish, Lita, when they were working, you actually kind of cared about the Divas division. Not anymore. AJ actually made it interesting to watch, and I think they're going to eventually give it back. The only reason she lost was because she wanted to go home. I don't think they would have taken the belt off of her otherwise.
Okay. All right. Now, I've been putting this off long enough here. The main event. Oh, God.
Hold on. Before you get to the main event, how about that creepy kid promo between the Page match and the main event? What the hell was that? That freaked me out, man.
His name is Little Johnny, and it was...
Don't give me nightmares.
I know. He was saying that, Cena stands with lonely souls. He has nowhere else to go except for to join them. And then, the only thing left to do is accept his message. And he puts on a sheep mask. And I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? I was actually getting excited when the first time the lights went off. I thought, okay, maybe they're going to have a new member. I was like, they're not going to have a new member of the Wyatt family, are they? Are they bringing in another person? I thought that's how they were going to costume, and then they did this vignette. I thought, okay, are they going to introduce somebody now? It's maybe. Do you think that's what they're teasing? They're going to introduce a new member of the Wyatt family and attempt to, they're going to basically they're going to try to bring in John Cena, but he's obviously not going to do it. He's going to fight, resist. It's going to be different than when Daniel Bryan joined the Wyatt family for 2 weeks, and they wound up putting somebody in that fourth spot. I mean, what do you think's going to happen?
I don't think they're going to bring in anybody, at least anytime soon. I think they're going to keep it with the 3. It's funny, though. If they are going to bring somebody in, they're going to end up bringing somebody from NXT. I don't think it's going to be anybody on the main roster right now. But I really don't think it's going to happen. I think they're just going to leave it alone. I actually thought it was going to be Bo Dallas coming out for a moment, but just for a split second, I thought it might have been Bo. I almost got excited. I'm a believer.
I think it's actually kind of funny that, remember now, to keep Daniel Bryan out of the title picture, they put him in like this side feud with the Wyatts. They had him briefly join the Wyatt family, and then when everything started to fall apart, they quickly got him out of it and put him back in the title picture. Now it's kind of roles reversed to keep John Cena out of the title picture and go eventually having a showdown with Daniel Bryan. They put him in a side feud with the Wyatt family, and now they've got threatened where they're going to threaten to have him join.
I think that's where the heel turn is going to happen, though. See, I don't think he's going to join the Wyatt family. I think this whole thing is going to blow over. Eventually, Cena will go over because he's Super Cena. Right when he's going to wrestle Bryan, I don't know if they're going to make him team up against somebody. Because eventually you're going to have Bray Wyatt take on Daniel Bryan again. Maybe Cena teams up with Bryan. Maybe Cena turns on Bryan. I don't know. Something's going to happen. Cena is going to be the heel in that match. Unless somebody wants to be really fucking stupid, so part of my French, and turn Bryan heel just to give it to Cena one more time. If Cena wins again, he ties with Flair. And I think I'll start watching wrestling. But no, honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to have another member in the Wyatt family, at least not yet, not anytime soon. I don't think they're going to do the tease with Cena. I think Cena's just eventually going to turn on the fans and turn heel and go after Bryan. I think that's eventually, or maybe do it slowly. The fans turn on Cena. The fans obviously love Bryan. He's going to go after what they love now. At least that's how I would book it, but the world's not perfect.
No, it's not. But anyway, on to the main event. You had Daniel Bryan in his first title defense since becoming champion, defending against the Devil's favorite demon, Kane. And all I got to say, George, is I really wish we could have played the Benny Hill theme in the background, because that's all we really needed at this point. We just needed we just needed an appearance by some kind of cop chasing around. I mean, this got beyond goddamn ridiculous. It immediately started to the outside. It went to the back. It went to the parking lot. There were all kinds of foreign objects used. There were tables, chairs, tire irons. Hell, I got to mention this. They brought a fucking forklift into this. They brought a forklift. Hey, no, wait a minute, kids. I don't think you're taking this journey with me here. Come gather around. They had, basically, it was a fucking Extreme Rules, a street fight. There was kendo sticks. There were chairs. There were tables. There was the announce room tables. There was a brawl on the outside. There was debris on the outside. There was a tire iron used. And then when Kane was down and beaten unconscious, Daniel Bryan loaded him onto a crate, which was already hooked up to a forklift, No, 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 no. You did not mishear that. If you didn't watch this pay-per-view, no, you were hearing me correctly. It went to a parking lot, the arena, little arena parking lot, whatever, in there, little garage area. Daniel Bryan got knocked down to a conveniently open trunk, reached up under where the spare tire is, pulled out a tire iron, clocked Kane with it, rolled him over onto a pallet that was hooked up to a forklift, beat him a few more times with a tire iron for good measure, drove him out to the ring, picked him up, with the forklift that is, dumped Kane into the ring, then climbed up on top of the pallet, which was all up there because of the forklift, did a flying headbutt down onto him, and got a 2 count. Yes, kids, that happened. And I remember I was following along, and we had like a little Extreme Rules, little chat session amongst the Internet Infantry on Google Talks. Thank you very much to everybody who participated in that. Everybody was just like, everything, the comments were, this is Botchamania worthy. What the fuck am I watching? What the hell's going on? Please speed this up. This match was a complete, total clusterfuck. And it goes to the outside. Kane pulls a gas can. Again, you were hearing that correctly. Kane pulls a gas can out from under the ring, pours the contents onto a table which he has set up, then takes a lighting device, sets the table on fire. He goes up to the ring apron where Daniel Bryan is, and he's trying to get a hold of him, but no. Daniel Bryan shakes the rope, whatever, and knocks Kane through the flaming table. A stagehand comes by with a fire extinguisher, starts hosing down Kane like he's still, I don't think, obviously Kane didn't actually catch on fire, but kept squirting him, hosing him down with his fire extinguisher. As soon as Kane rolls back in the ring, Daniel Bryan hits the knee, boom, pins him, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just like, what the fuck did I just watch? Now, George, was that a complete total clusterfuck because I made it out to be, or am I exaggerating?
It depends how you look at it. See, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun match. I had a couple of cool spots. I actually liked the forklift spot when he did the flying headbutt off the forklift. That was just flying headbutt off the forklift, folks. I never thought I'd say that, but he did it. It reminded me of a Stone Cold Steve Austin match, where they spend more than half the match on the outside. And considering that Daniel Bryan's supposed to be the new Stone Cold, lukewarm Daniel Bryan, they actually did a Stone Cold match. This is the problem when you take a guy that's such a fantastic wrestler like Daniel Bryan and decide to put him up against a giant and say, okay, this is not a wrestling match. So do everything but wrestle. And you get forklifts. The whole car spot with the trunk conveniently open, like you said. See, I don't know. When I was watching the match, the first thing that popped is, why did Daniel Bryan have his car there? Because I just thought that Daniel Bryan's that was his car. Why would the trunk be open? Why would he know that the trunk is open?
Well, there was like somebody loaded, like somebody had like luggage there. I don't know. I guess somebody was about to load luggage or was in the process of loading luggage, and I guess theoretically saw those two brawling and left, and then happened to leave the trunk open. That's at least what I'm getting out of it.
I enjoyed it. I thought the forklift thing was actually kind of cool. The table was probably kind of botched. The fire was almost out by the time Kane went through the table. There was a couple of really good bumps that Bryan took. They did the best they could with what they had. Honestly, this reminded me back of the whole pay-per-view, especially with this match, reminded me of the Attitude Era, where you have fantastic wrestling matches and good times and bad times and all these things like the 6-man tag, and then the main event is just a brawl. And that was Austin's cliche. And, they're trying to recreate the whole Stone Cold deal right now. I think it's a mistake if they're gonna start doing this every match. But with the pay-per-view being Extreme Rules, I think they did a good job. But honestly, I didn't see this match could have gone any other way. It had to be Kane basically hitting Bryan with everything he could find, and Bryan finally finding one little quick way to beat him. And I think that's what he did. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. My kids loved it. The whole yes, yes, yes thing was going here in the house. And
You
I don't know.
know, I'm glad you mentioned that because at least the rumors that I've been hearing via the dirt sheets is that people believe that it's the yes chant that is over and not Daniel Bryan. So really, they're not that solidly behind WWE. That is not solidly behind Daniel Bryan. I mean, do you think there's any truth to that?
No, honestly, I don't. I really don't. I think they know he's over. Yeah, the gesture is over. It's big time, but you know what? Nobody in the back said, "Oh, well, it's what that's over, not Stone Cold." Even though he was already the top guy, but nobody said, "Well, The Rock's not really over. It's the if you smell what The Rock is cooking, that's over." Nobody said that. That's his catchphrase. I think it's a little ridiculous when they let other wrestlers use it. When the Big Show starts doing yes, 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 or the heels start doing yes, 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 they're taking away from it. And it makes the crowd actually gravitate towards Bryan more because of the whole yes chant. The yes chant is over. So is Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan could go out there and say green, blue, purple, instead of saying yes, 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 and the crowd will start chanting green, blue, purple. He could come on and say you guys. Hell, he was saying you guys suck, and they were still cheering him. That's why he's as big as he is now. You know, I I don't. What I think is that they still think he's too small, but they had no choice. There was the whole thing where would he have won the title if CM Punk hadn't quit? I think the plan was for him to win the title at Mania the whole time. Um, I don't know. This whole thing is planning out exactly the way they want it to. I honestly think the CM Punk thing is more of a work than what it is. I think eventually Punk will come back to Wrestle Bryan. And I think if people know that he's over. He's over. He's outselling John Cena right now. So that's really all that matters. They'll keep putting yes on anything. Yes on cups, yes on hats. They don't care if it's a yes or Daniel Bryan. They'll put them together. They make money. They don't give a shit.
I like that you brought up that point about the other superstars, in the past, the guys who were super over, like Steve Austin, The Rock. Because the way, I think, honestly, a lot of people, or I don't want to say a lot of people, but there are some people in the WWE who just don't like Daniel Bryan. They like him, but they don't like him as champion. They don't want him to be champion. They don't want to put him in a suit and send him out on the talk show circuit. They want these big, huge, muscular, larger-than-life guys, and they kind of begrudgingly put the title on Daniel Bryan because they were pretty much at the mercy of the fans with him watching the WWE Network. So they did that, and it's like they're making up any kind of excuse they can to not fully support him. Well, he's not really over, he's not as a champion, people just like the yes chants. I mean, I agree with your point, that's like saying, well, people really aren't really, down with The Rock. They just like it when he says, if you can smell what The Rock is cooking. Well, they're not really down with Stone Cold Steve Austin because, they're just into the middle fingers and drinking beer and saying that's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. Oh, they're really not really down with Hulk Hogan. They're just down because he rips his shirt and he does a little, the ear thing and waves the American flag. I mean, I completely agree with you in that, and I feel like it's kind of petty that if that's the excuse that they're going with, I think, these guys just absolutely positively just don't get it. I would have agreed with you had this been like, just Daniel Bryan not been champion and this just would have been a grudge match. I agree that this would have been a fun match. This would have been an absolutely fun match to watch, but it's not. Daniel Bryan's the champion. And not that makes it a bad match. It was just so ridiculous. It was just absolutely it wasn't satisfying for me as a fan. This was Daniel Bryan's first title defense on a pay-per-view. His absolute first, and this is what we see. And there was no solid conclusion to it because remember, Kane sits up at the end, looks back, boom, there's the fire going off, and they're kind of teasing, this probably ain't over with yet. And I was just wanting something a little bit more for his first title defense and something that didn't come off as so cartoony. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, I think there is going to be a rematch. Probably going to be at Payback, I guess, is the next pay-per-view. Um, but I think that's where they're going to let Daniel Bryan actually shine. You know, do his thing, do his wrestling, show that he can go. We all know Kane could go as long as he's being carried. You know, he had a tremendous match with CM Punk. He had great matches with with Austin and in the past and the Undertaker. Kane could still go. Kane's in great shape, and Daniel Bryan could actually give him a good wrestling match. And I think the next one may be a submission match, maybe a last man standing, maybe who knows, maybe it'll be a ring surrounded by a bunch of midgets on fire match. But it's gonna be Daniel Bryan shining. This match was to show that Daniel Bryan could take a beating and still come out. He just because he's small doesn't mean he's not tough. That was the whole purpose of this match, and I thought it was good. And also to prove the point that he is over, he didn't do the yes chant at all. Really, he came out and he did the match. He did the knee. The crowd went crazy doing the yes chant when he came out with a forklift. At first they were confused, but once he got on top of the forklift, they went crazy. Daniel Bryan is the man right now. He will continue to be the man until, and I've said it before and I keep saying it, Roman Reigns is ready. And that's Vince's boy. Roman Reigns is everything Vince likes. Long hair, tattoos, muscular, ripped, and he's Samoan. Everything Vince likes. And Daniel Bryan is everything Vince hates. An indie guy. And no body whatsoever. He has the worst mic skills in the history of the business. But he is over, and money talks. And right now, Vince is leaning more towards what Triple H says. And here's a secret, folks. Daniel Bryan is Shawn Michaels' boy. Shawn Michaels is Triple H's boy. Shawn Michaels could tell him, hey, this is my guy. Triple H can hire this cat. Triple H will never even see this guy wrestle. He will hire him and put a belt on him. Only because that's his boy. Daniel Bryan is actually a Triple H guy. A lot of people don't realize that, but he is. He was groomed to wrestle in the WWE. He was in the WWE development years ago. This guy is a WWE guy. He's not an indie guy. He's a WWE guy that happened to get famous in the indie scene. They're not going to give up on him. The people that are saying the yes chant is more over than Daniel Bryan himself are the same people that in the IWC that was supporting Bryan, saying, he's our guy, you got to put him on top. And now they put him on top. And they say, well, it's a yes movement. It's a yes word. He's jumped the shark. They did the same thing with Punk. They did the same thing with anybody. That's why internet people, you piss me off. I'm a heel too. I'm healing out on the IWC. You guys suck. I love you, but you guys suck. Daniel Bryan is over. It's not the stupid word. They could put and they could put, like I said, Gremlin on his shirt, and people are gonna go crazy anyway. Gremlin, Gremlin, Gremlin.
Well, I'm going to kind of disagree on some of those points. I don't think I don't think Daniel Bryan's like a Triple H or Shawn Michaels guy. Because yeah, he did enter in Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy, but the bulk of that training was done by William Regal. In fact, he still refers to William Regal as his trainer, and that's why he wears the color red. It was like pulling teeth trying to get Daniel Bryan in the main event. And WWE could say all they want. Oh, that was part of the plan. That was part of the plan. Yeah, we're going to have CM Punk walk out, take on a sabbatical. Then we're going to have then we're going to bring back Batista and intentionally have him get booed out of every fucking arena that he goes into. Then we're going to have Daniel Bryan join the Wyatt family for a couple of weeks, and then for no reason pretty much get up out of it. So no, I think he's had to work and scrap for everything, but that's just my opinion. But here's my question for you, George. This is just something that where did you go, George? George, okay, damn. I think George just bolted on me. So let me see here if I can invite him back. Give me live. Let's see, and then invite. I don't know what in the world just happened. Just George just bolted on me here. I don't know. Ah, there he is. He's back. And now he's back from outer space. He just came back to see me with that dumb look upon my face. Whew. All right, George, I'm scared there for a second. I lost you, but I
I
actually
don't
got
know
a
what happened.
question. Yeah, I got a question for you here. Do you think, with everything that's being said about Daniel Bryan, all the points that we've just made here, do you think that WWE, particularly if you're going to use this pay-per-view as, kind of like just a benchmark here, do you think WWE believes that they're more so protecting Daniel Bryan with this kind of push, with this type of match, or are they just kind of patronizing him?
No, again, I think this is just WWE's way of doing things. You go back to every major star that has ever won a title at WrestleMania. Their following pay-per-view, it was either a rematch with the guy they wrestled at Mania, or just a complete bullshit match that they throw at them. If you recall, uh, Steve Austin, he wins the title from the Rock, I believe it was. Actually, no, it was Shawn Michaels.
Shawn
He,
Michaels.
yeah, he won the first time he won. It was against Shawn Michaels, and they had him go with Dude Love in a match that was just, special ring announcer Pat Patterson, special timekeeper Gerald Briscoe, special referee Vince McMahon. The match was just completely ridiculous. Um, but it kept leading up. It was just Austin and Dude Love for like 2-3 months after that. Which, yeah, I love Mick Foley as much as the next guy, but let's face it, that Dude Love versus Stone Cold Steve Austin is not the type of marquee you want to see for your brand new champion. I, I I think they do this with a lot of the champs. When a good example, when the Undertaker won the title at WrestleMania 13, his first opponent was Farouk, I believe, was it?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
He wrestled Farouk. He wrestled Stone Cold in meaningless matches. This is the WWE's ways of putting Daniel Bryan over. That's what they do. They'll feed him Kane. This is Kane's last run. He's supposed to be a big monster. Here we go. Daniel Bryan overcomes David and Goliath. Blah blah blah. He'll wrestle a couple more guys here till SummerSlam, and SummerSlam. At that point is when they decide, is this guy really our guy? And that's what we'll know. If he loses at SummerSlam, it's over for him.
All right, but overall, okay. That was the pay-per-view. It went off at 9:45 Central Time.
Early.
I think it's actually kind of funny that pay-per-views that people pay money for go less. You take less time than your average Monday Night Raw, which goes off the air 15, 20, sometimes 25 minutes past the hour. So I think that's kind of weird. Do you think they should have crammed like at least one more match in here to kind of push it up? So they were getting off air right at 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern.
No, I think the pacing was good. You know what it was is that this time they actually listened to a lot of the fans. My personal opinion, I think the last couple of pay-per-views they had way too many backstage segments, in between match segments. This one they really didn't have that many. They had a couple promos here and there, and they had the Stephanie McMahon, Daniel Bryan thing at the beginning of the pay-per-view. That was pretty much it. There was match after match after match. Not too much angle, storyline development, no crappy goofball Santino in the back doing something stupid. That's what usually drags out the pay-per-views and the Raws and all that. I think the pacing was good. So, what, a good 2 hours, 45 minutes?
Yeah, 2 hour, 45-minute pay-per-view. So no, not all in all bad. I'm just just throwing that out here. But
I honestly, a couple of the matches I thought felt a little rushed. The triple threat match was a little rushed. I think they wanted to give the Cena Bray Wyatt some more time. I think it just backfired on them, personally. I thought that maybe the triple threat match itself is probably was supposed to run a little longer because it felt like it was rushed. It felt like it was cut. Like something was missing from that match.
No, that match itself, I think the triple threat match went over 20 minutes, and it didn't feel that way, and that's a good thing. Yeah, it went just a few seconds shy of 20 minutes.
How about that? The Intercontinental title match, that was pretty quick too, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Intercontinental title match, I think they really could have put that out a little bit longer. That went just a shade, tad under 8 minutes. I think you could have drug that out past 10 minutes easily and still would have had a satisfying ending.
The only thing I was honestly disappointed in, they should have had a match for the Brotherhood. Even if it was them against Rybaxu or any stupid match. Another thing, no tag team title match. That was, it could have been the Usos against the Brotherhood. Further a little bit more of the whole angle between Cody and Goldust. It didn't have to be very long. It's a quick 10-minute match just to throw it in there. Pay-per-view, no tag titles.
Just a 10-minute match, that would have been great. But overall,
we have Alexander Rusev, Russian Taz wrestling, but no tag team titles. That's unfortunate.
But 2014 Extreme Rules in the history books now. Now this is the question I got to ask. We've already talked about win, loss, or tie, but if you had to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the absolute best, what would you rank it?
7.5, 8. Pretty high up there.
You know what?
Not perfect, but it was high up there.
Over, man. You absolutely hit it, George. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to take some points off because I think the Divas match could have been a little bit better. The squash match was okay, and then the main event was just kind of everywhere. But it didn't detract too much from the pay-per-view. If you guys want to, I would say if you get a chance to watch, like if you have not watched it and you want to check it out before Monday Night Raw starts, I would say go for it. If you only watch one match off of this, I would strongly suggest you watch the 6-man tag match. If you watch 2 matches, I would also throw in the John Cena Bray Wyatt match, maybe the Intercontinental title match if you're a huge fan, and maybe even the triple threat elimination match. But overall, I think it was a good pay-per-view. Definitely going to give a win. Now, some of you want to know about pay-per-view profits. Now, what are we going to do about this? Because I did run into a problem, but I've actually figured out how I'm going to solve it. Even with tiebreakers, in effect, we had a tie. We had a tie between Dave Kokotis, who beat me by one freaking tie. We went to the tiebreakers, and he beat me by 1 tie. And no surprise here, Adam Goulet. So Dave Kokotis and Adam Goulet tied for the win here, but through the power vested in me, the internet, and CocoSports.com, I hereby proclaim Adam Goulet as the sole winner of pay-per-view profits because fuck Dave Kokotis. He went to the fucking zoo.
Dave. The zoo.
He went to the zoo. We're gonna be back here tomorrow. We're gonna review Monday Night Raw, and Dave Kokotis like, well, I fed a giraffe.
Dude, what kind of animals do they have in a Japanese zoo? There's a bunch of pandas. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be amazed if his kids make it out because as soon as he tries to walk out with his kids, they're gonna security's gonna stop him and ask him why they shaved the gorilla and try to get dress him up like a person and get him out.
Oh, Coco. Well, yeah, he asked me to fill in for him. Just told me, just not to suck. I hope I didn't suck, but I hope he had fun at the zoo with his kids.
Yeah, at least you didn't go to the fucking zoo. I mean, you sit there and watch the pay-per-view. You jumped on here. At least you didn't go to the zoo. Dave was like, it's really good or bad. If the pay-per-view sucks, he wins because he went to the zoo. But if it's really awesome, then he loses because he went to the zoo. Oh,
and it was really awesome, so he lost. Oh, man. It was a good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Coco missed it. He's out of the zoo looking at tigers.
Well, I guess that's going to do it for this edition of... Actually, you know what? Let's go to live comments. You know what? Fuck it. You know, I can stay up a couple more minutes. I'm not going to go completely overboard, but I do want to give shout-outs to Aaron Moore, Ewok from Indoor, Grevin64, Connect 200, ooh, Rihanna Jackson, wow, Forsaken, God, who else am I forgetting here? Shit, who else? I'm trying to scroll down here and collect all these names. Player Dies, our hero Player Dies, and anybody else I'm forgetting, I apologize. Malik Douglas, everybody, X-Ray Vision 124, everybody, Joel Edwards, anybody else who's watching live, thank you very much. We're looking at a lot of good stuff here for the pay-per-view. A lot of people scoring it as a win. Let's see if there's any questions here. If not, I'm going to have to go ahead and bounce. Aaron Moore's agreed with you, George. He was believing, yeah, the Usos should have been in there. That would have added to the pay-per-view. Griffin64 says maybe for their next gimmick match, Kane versus Daniel Bryan, is that Kane will tie him to a dentist chair and put on a blonde wig and show up as Isaac Yankem. Why? Because fuck logic. That's why. Oh God, all kinds of good stuff here. But I'm really not seeing a lot of questions here. But want to thank George Martel for joining me here tonight, for helping me out. Believe me, it really, really helped. It does a hell of a lot better when I try to do this shit by myself. Want to thank the Internet Infantry. Thank you for participating. Congratulations to Adam Goulet for winning pay-per-view profits. Again, yeah, we're talking about like whoever wins the most pay-per-view profits this year is going to get like a trophy, but we haven't decided yet. George, what we were thinking about doing was we were thinking about just getting like this little bitty trophy, you know, something about the size of like a soda can. Or we were going to go a different route. We were going to get like this gigantic trophy that was like 6 feet tall. And that way we would send it to them and be like, well, what did you do to get that huge trophy? Well, I won an internet pick'em contest, I'll have you know. We thought about doing that. So we don't know where we're going to go with this, but we're going to do something special for the winner. What else? So we'll be back tomorrow. Do what?
You can send them a picture of a trophy.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll take like a Polaroid of me just giving like the thumbs up, and that'll be, and just scotch tape it onto the drum. There you go. Congratulations, you won pay-per-view profits. Woohoo! You're the pay-per-view best pay-per-view profit of all times. But anyway, we'll be back here tomorrow night with a review of Monday Night Raw as soon as that's in the books. In the meantime, you can always check us out. We're always live 24/7 at KocoSports.com. That's KOCOSports.com. It's your home for all combat sports. That includes mixed martial arts, boxing, wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, and, of course, professional wrestling. If you can get your nose broke doing it, man, we got you covered. But hop on over there and check it out. As soon as the feed goes up, you might be able to check out some highlights. Wink, wink, of Extreme Rules. We've already got the pay-per-view from Japan this past Saturday. That's already up there in our video on demand section. You want to check out stuff like NXT, Impact. We've got it all on there. We've also got the latest wrestling news. Floyd Money Mayweather's title defense. We've got news on that. Everything over there at KocoSports.com. So please be sure to check it out because it's where the world goes to kick ass. So this is Boom Boom for George Martel and, of course, Dave Kokotis, who's at the fucking zoo saying, I am over.